In the quiet town of Hollowbrook, a sinister figure lurked in the shadows, instilling fear into the hearts of its unsuspecting residents. They called him the Evergreen Killer, for his haunting eyes glowed with an unnatural hue of emerald, an eerie reflection of the darkness that consumed his soul. No one knew the true identity of this predator who prowled the streets at night, leaving a trail of grisly murders in his wake. The townsfolk lived in constant terror, their once peaceful lives shattered by the presence of this remorseless murderer. The Evergreen Killer's methods were as calculated as they were macabre. He selected his victims with meticulous precision, preying on the vulnerable and the forgotten. His every move was shrouded in mystery, leaving the authorities baffled and the town gripped by a sense of helplessness. Each victim bore the same telltale signs, a ghastly wound in the shape of a sinister grin, carved deep into their lifeless bodies. It was his morbid signature, a twisted symbol of his dominance and the perverse pleasure he derived from their suffering. The town lived in a constant state of paranoia, locking their doors and casting furtive glances at strangers. Yet, no amount of caution could shield them from the terror that walked among them. Whispers of the Evergreen Killer echoed through the community, as they searched desperately for answers, for a way to unmask the monster that haunted their nightmares. Detective Sarah Lawson, a tenacious investigator with a knack for solving the unsolvable, took up the daunting task of bringing this sadistic killer to justice. Her once bright eyes, filled with determination, now clouded with a haunted intensity as she delved deeper into the darkness that consumed Hollowbrook. Through tireless nights and relentless pursuit, Sarah began to piece together fragments of the Evergreen Killer's twisted psyche. A pattern emerged from the chaos, a deep-rooted resentment and a thirst for power, an insatiable desire to dominate and extinguish the lives of those he deemed unworthy. As the investigation progressed, Sarah found herself in a deadly game of cat and mouse with the Evergreen Killer. The thrill of the chase fueled his sadistic nature, as he toyed with her, leaving cryptic clues and taunting messages at each crime scene. It was a dance of shadows, a battle between good and evil, and Sarah knew that her own life hung in the balance. With every passing day, the town of Hollowbrook descended further into madness. Fear permeated the air, and paranoia poisoned even the most innocent interactions. Neighbors turned against each other, suspecting everyone with a hint of suspicion, while the Evergreen Killer reveled in the chaos he had created. But Sarah refused to succumb to the terror that gripped the town. Armed with unwavering determination, she chased the Evergreen Spectre through the labyrinthine streets, following the clues he left behind. The final confrontation loomed on the horizon, a battle that would determine the fate of Hollowbrook and the lives of its residents. In the dead of night, Sarah found herself face to face with the Evergreen Killer, his emerald gaze gleaming with a twisted pleasure. The air crackled with electricity as their eyes locked in a deadly standoff. She saw a reflection of her own darkness in those eyes, but she refused to let it consume her. A harrowing struggle ensued, a symphony of desperate gasps and savage blows. The Evergreen Killer fought with a feral ferocity, driven by a deranged obsession for power. But Sarah fought with a righteous fury, fueled by the memory of the innocent lives he had extinguished. In the end, the Evergreen Killer stood victorious over his most precious victim yet.